not arrived yet. In comparison with the top,
The professor who's turning
me is one key child.
Good afternoon and welcome to this Bachelor of Journalism program webinar. We're coming to you live from our digital broadcast studio in Elliott Hall on the main campus of Hong Kong U. My name is Jeff Timmermans.
And I'm AJ Libanel.
And together we oversee the Bachelor of Journalism program. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. What we want to do today is give you a bit of an idea of what this program is all about. We'll also hear from some current students of the program, and then we'll be happy to take any questions you might have about our program, about life in the Bachelor of Journalism program, life at HKU, or really anything at all you have. But I wanted to start off by asking you a question. And my question is, what do all of these careers have in common? Now, you can see it's a very diverse bunch of careers. We've got solicitor, equal opportunity commission officer, so government official, Reuters correspondent, Bloomberg News bureau chief, PR executive, educator. Very diverse bunch of careers. Does anyone know what they have in common? If you do, type your answer into the chat box and we'll give you a little bit of time to think about it. It's a question, like many questions in journalism, that has more than one correct answer. So if you have any ideas, go ahead and type into the chat box. We'll see if you're right or wrong. Start thinking about what these careers might have in common. Even though they are diverse, they do have some things in common. And the closer you look at these careers, I think you'll find that they all require really, really good communication skills. So this is by way of saying that communication skills are really important to a wide variety of careers right now, careers that you wouldn't have thought would require good communication skills even 10 years ago. But there's another answer to this question, and it's an answer that almost nobody ever gets when we ask this question of you guys. It is that they are all careers pursued by recent graduates of our program, the Bachelor of Journalism program. See, AJ didn't even know that either, right?
I just thought they made money.
So this tells you several things. First of all, it tells you that journalism skills, communication skills, are applicable to a wide variety of careers nowadays. And it also tells you that our program, Bachelor of Journalism, is about more than just journalism. It's a way to boost your communication skills across multiple media, and it's applicable, as I said, to a wide variety of careers. And that's why we still like to brand ourselves as a Bachelor of Journalism, but we also added a tagline to give everyone a bit more of an idea of what we're about. So we tell people that we are a communications-focused double major degree for the digital age. And that's kind of sounds a little bit fancy, maybe even a bit pretentious, but I think it does describe really what we're trying to do here in this program. Now, part of this means we want to be as diverse as possible. We want to be international, because that's what communication is all about now. It's no longer local, it's global, and it's instantaneous. So we actively recruit students from all around the world, even though most of the students we take in are from Hong Kong. We also have students from literally around the world, from New Zealand to Myanmar to Iran, Estonia, France, Sweden, North America, Canada, Mauritius, Norway, you name it. In the past 10 years, we've had more than 24 nationalities represented in our program among our graduates, and we think that's a fantastic thing. It makes for a very, very interesting classroom environment. It allows our students to share their knowledge and their experience with each other, and it's just a fantastic, fun way to learn. So that's just one part of the international element of our program. We're keen that all of our students, while they're here with us, also get as much international exposure as possible. So we've set up an exchange program just for Bachelor of Journalism students, and we've tied up with some of the world's other top journalism schools, like the Danish School of Media and Journalism. That's the oldest journalism school in Europe, as well as Sciences Po in Paris, the University of Navarra in Spain, and in the United States, the universities of Missouri, Maryland, and North Carolina, Chapel Hill, which are all top U.S. journalism schools. And this program, it's reserved for Bachelor of Journalism students, but our students can also participate in the Hong Kong U Worldwide Exchange, as well as the Faculty of Social Sciences Exchange program, because we are part of the Faculty of Social Science. So lots of exchange opportunities. We're really eager for everyone to get a taste of life abroad while they're here, because you're probably not going to get that chance again to live and work among people your own age for 3 months. And about 70 to 80% of our students at one point do go on exchange. So it's a great, great, great opportunity. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about the structure of our program, at least the journalism part, because the choice of second major is entirely up to you. But everyone in our program does take the same journalism courses. You start off in your first year with the principles of journalism, where we learn about what journalism really is, the role it plays in society. We learn about ethics. We learn about how to be a good, ethical, reliable journalist. And we have a full year long course in news reporting, where we treat you as much as possible as a real live working reporter. We run the class as a newsroom. You're out there interviewing people, reporting, gathering information, knowledge, and you're writing it up in news stories. Then as you progress to your second, third, and fourth years, you begin to explore other media, not just writing, photography, video. All of our students, by the time they graduate, know how to shoot and edit video. They know how to use social media to communicate effectively. So by the time they graduate, our students are effective communicators across all these different kinds of media. Very, very powerful combination, especially when you combine it with your second major. And as I said, oh, sorry, oops, I forgot. We talked about internships first. AJ, you didn't warn me.
My bad. All good.
Sorry. This is the hazards of having a live broadcast. Anyway, so expanding on that real life experience, we also require all of our students to do an internship for at least one summer. And we take advantage of the fact that Hong Kong is a regional media hub. Almost all the big multinational news organizations have headquarters here, like CNN, Bloomberg, the Wall Street Journal. And we've had internship partnerships with all these organizations on the screen for more than a decade, except for Quartz, which is still a new publication. So our students have great opportunities to go put into practice in real life the skills they learn in the classroom. Now we can talk about our second major.
There we go.
So this is a pie chart of the choices of second major that recent graduates have chosen, and you can see that other social sciences are heavily represented here, like psychology, sociology, political science. But we also have students choosing things like business and economics. That's an increasingly popular second major, as well as language, regional studies. But in this other section here, you see the true diversity of our student body. Almost 25%, almost a quarter of students choose a second major that's not even on that list there. And everything from social work to fine arts, music, computer science, which is a great combination in the age of big data. This is an opportunity for all of our students to create their own customized, bespoke degree that is just theirs. It's an opportunity to finally study what you want to study, and we encourage students to study wherever their passion lies. We're not going to tell you what to choose as a second major. We want you to decide as well, but we're happy to talk you through the opportunities, both with your academic advisor or your peer advisors as well. So it's a great, great family. You can tell from this photograph, it's a diverse family. We have a lot of fun here. We learn a lot. We work hard. But it's a great, great preparation for the world out there. And I know a lot of you are probably worried about getting a job after graduation. But I can tell you, in the last 5 years, all of our students, all of our graduates have proceeded on to full-time employment or to further education. So it's a great preparation for a wide variety of careers and experiences. And we'd love for you to join us here. I'm sure you're curious about how you can join us here. And I'm happy to take questions at the end, but I will tell you that for JUPAS applicants, we will be inviting all applicants who put us as one of their Band A choices in for an informational interview. Now, this is not a requirement, but I do guarantee that if you decide to come, you will have a good time. You'll have a chance to see our facilities in Elliott Hall. You'll have a chance to speak with some of our faculty, meet other applicants, and get a little bit of a taste about what it's like to study here in the Bachelor of Journalism program. Now, if you do choose to attend the interview, and we encourage you to attend, you will get feedback from us on how you did in that interview. There are two kinds of feedback. You either did outstanding in the interview, where you really impressed us, and that means we will give you bonus points in the application procedure. So if you get an outstanding rating in the interview, you will get bonus points that serve as a tiebreaker. So if someone else has the same DSE score, you'll be doing a little bit better than they will, right? So it's a tiebreaker, basically. The other type of feedback is good, which means you did a good job, just not quite to that outstanding level, and you will not get bonus points. So one reason we do this is because we want to get to know you a little bit better, but we also want to have as much transparency as possible in the admissions process. DSE scores are important, but they are not the be-all and end-all. You are your own person, and we want to factor that in to our admissions decisions. So if you, in the end, get a 26 or higher in your best 5 score in the DSE, this is just the best 5 score without the bonus points, and you get an outstanding result in your interview performance, you stand a very, very good chance of being accepted into our program. Now, we can't make any guarantees, but based on past history, we can tell you that 26 or higher plus an outstanding gives you a very, very good shot. If, of course, you put us as one of your Band A choices. If you don't put us in Band A, we're probably not going to know about you. We're not going to be able to invite you for an interview. So if you are invited to an interview and invitations went out this morning, we encourage you to please come see us. I guarantee it'll be fun. There's nothing to prepare for. You don't have to be nervous. I guarantee you'll have a good time. So, AJ, why don't we talk to some of our current students?
I think we should do that.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right, let's do that.
But they're right here.
Oh, they're right here. Celine, hello. Hello, Matthew. Hi. Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here. Celine is coming to us live from Seoul, where she's spending the summer holidays. Matthew, of course, is right here in the studio with us. So maybe, Celine, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your experience as a Bachelor of Journalism student.
Hello everyone, I am Celine. I am a first-year student at the JMSC. I'm a rising second-year student, and as Jeff mentioned, I'm here today to share my experience studying at the JMSC with all of you guys. I just want to go straight into sharing my experience. First of all, I want to talk about the hands-on learning experience that I have had in my first year. A lot of the lectures at the JMSC that I have taken really required me to apply the skills that I learned in my lectures onto my assignments. And in this process, I was really able to practice a lot of the skills that were taught in my lectures, and I was able to develop my communication skills. And one memorable example of an assignment that I had to do in my first year was verification labs for fake news. I'm sure all of you as aspiring journalism students and journalists know or have heard of what fake news is. And what this verification lab is to verify fake news online using verification tools that I learned in class. And this was extremely memorable and was undoubtedly one of the things that I remember most about my first year, because I was able to really directly apply the skills that I learned in class and gain a better understanding of what fake news is, and understand that fake news is actually in very much of a proximity to our everyday lives. Second of all, I really think that the discussion-based lectures that really constitute comprise the JMSC classes really helped me in a lot of ways, not only with my communication skills, but also understanding different perspectives that my classmates raise within the discussion. As I am an international student, I really like to hear about the different perspectives that exist and the diversity of perspectives that exist in our class, because we have a lot of international students as well. And this all really helped me and enabled me to become a more flexible thinker, but also helped me become a better listener and understand different perspectives and coming from different backgrounds. Finally, I would like to end by saying that overall, my first year experience at the JMSC was not always easy. There were a lot of challenging tasks and assignments that I did have to complete in my first year. And in the process of preparing and thinking about things to share with you guys today, I was really able to reflect upon my first year. And I would say that despite all these challenges, I feel that I have improved a lot in terms of my communication skills and my ability to think in a more broader sense and really understand the world in a better way. And so I hope all of you guys next year come to the JMSC to really have the most fruitful experience and go a step closer to becoming a journalist. Thank you so much. This is all I have for you today. I hope to see you all in the fall at HKU at Elliott Hall. Thank you so much.
Well, Celine, thank you so much. That was wonderful. I want to. We had no idea what Celine or what Matthew's going to say. I'm a little bit worried about what Matthew's going to say, but thank you so much, Celine. That was wonderful to hear. And I also want to remind everyone what the past year has been like for these guys. We had to rush to put all of our curriculum as much as possible online, and I haven't actually seen Celine in person for months now. And it's been really, really tough to try to do what we do here remotely online. It was a real challenge, and I hope that we never, ever have to do that again, because it was not a lot of fun. But I'm glad that you stuck through, and you did get some good learning outcomes there. So thank you, both of you, for being patient throughout this year. It's been a really tough one. Matthew?
Hi everyone, I'm Matthew. I'm also a year one student here at JMSC, and for me, learning here at JMSC is just so much fun. The classroom environment is really awesome. The atmosphere during classes is really, really great. For example, in Jeff's class, we always need to discuss or work on something as a team, so there's a lot of discussion. And students here are very active in engaging in discussions. Also, everyone is eager to ask questions. So for me, being in such a environment, it's really inspiring and also very motivating in a way. And also, I would like to talk about a bit on the feedback that we got from our teachers, because I would say it's always very detailed. So it helps me to improve my writing skills a lot throughout the year, and I think it's just really fun to learn in such a engaging and very active classroom environment. And another thing is being a year one student, it's not easy because you need to get used to a completely new environment. So another good thing about this program is every year one student will be assigned an academic advisor, which is a teacher from JMSC here. And AJ here is my advisor this year, and we've met a couple of times throughout the year, and he really helped me a lot with my academic planning, and also just gather some of my thoughts, give me more information on the internship opportunities and also the exchange planning. So you can really expect to get a whole network of support here at JMSC. And I think that's for U1 students, that's really important because it really helps you to get used to this environment and also just get you ahead of other students here or other students, university students here in Hong Kong. And in all in all, I think it's really fun learning here at JMSC, and I really do enjoy and appreciate the very engaging way of teaching and just the whole academic environment here as a whole.
Great, thank you, Matt. That was good. I guess I shouldn't have been concerned.
Well, Jeff class is very, very fun, so no worries.
You to say that. Right. So Celine obviously, applied as an international student. Matthew applied as you were a JUPAS applicant, right?
Yeah.
So without spilling any secrets, please, Matthew went through the admissions process and the interview. We're going to do the interview process for JUPAS applicants this year the same way we did last year with Matthew. So do you want to tell people, don't spill any secrets, but tell what it was like?
Maybe I would just share some of my thoughts before coming to Elliott Hall for that interview. So basically, like Jeff said, it was told to every single candidate that it is nothing to prepare for. But for me, I just want to play it safe. So I was just expecting, we will have 1 or 2 minutes to introduce yourself. So it's just a very typical kind of interview. But so I basically prepared a 1-minute interview and a 1-minute self-introduction and a 2-minute self-introduction. So there's 2 versions. So I can just go with it depending on the time given to me. But it turns out it was totally unnecessary because we
didn't let you talk, right?
Yeah.
we didn't want people to do the self-introductions. We went because I see that a lot. You go into this environment, you're treating it like a job interview. You're nervous and you want to prepare.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Preparation is good, but you don't want to over-prepare. And what we were looking for is just the real you. And I think that certainly came across in Matthew's case,
Definitely.
and that's why he's sitting here next to us. So I'm glad. Did you have fun, or was it?
Well, it's really fun, and honestly, I think it really kind of, in a way, reflects the way of teaching here at JMSC as well. Because after a whole year of studying here at JMSC, I think it's really fun, and class is always exciting, and it's very interactive, and it's really hands-on, just like Celine mentioned just now. So it's always a lot of discussions, a lot of talking, and most importantly, I think it's important for us as students to be able to ask questions, especially when we are pursuing knowledge about journalism. So there's a lot of opportunities for everyone in the classroom to ask questions in every single lectures here.
Great, thank you. All right, guys, I think that should give you a pretty good overview of what we do here. So we're happy now to take questions, and the questions can be anything at all about admissions requirements, the admissions procedures, about life at HKU. If you have questions about journalism and what's going on in the world, there's a lot of news out there right now in Hong Kong and globally. So if you have questions about how the media are attempting to cover all that's going on in the world, we're happy to at least try to answer that. Feel free to direct questions to Celine and Matthew. They know better than I do what it's like to be a student here. So feel free to type your message in the chat box, and we will do our best to try to answer them. Okay, Lily asks, would the current students mind to share some experience and activities during the interview? Thank you. Lily, I'm going to answer for Matthew. No, we're not going to. It's a group activity. It's a group activity that will show you. It's actually a group activity that we used to use on one of the very first days of classes here. And instead of using it in class, we decided to use it as an admissions exercise. So it's literally something that you would be doing in our class. It's a group activity. We're not going to force you to speak or perform individually. I guarantee it'll be interesting and fun. Okay, so don't be nervous. Okay, don't be nervous, and you don't need to prepare. Right, you're anything in advance. Just come and have fun. And be yourself. That's why we do this. We want to see who you are as a person, because that does not come through the JUPAS scores, right?
Oh, that the emails went out. Yeah, don't forget that the emails did go out this morning. So if you didn't get the emails, do contact us. But you should have gotten your emails for the interviews this morning. So just a reminder.
Great. Thank you. Thanks.
No problem.
Why don't you take the next question since your earpiece seems to be working and mine is
Yes,
not.
it is. Yeah. Well, look, we got one question from Cindy. Would you describe Hong Kong U journalism students? What important qualities do you think they have that can increase their competitiveness in society?
Wow,
that's a very deep question.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll take a stab at answering, because I get this question a lot, and it's a tough one to answer too, mainly because we have a very diverse bunch of students. There's no one characteristic that everybody has, except maybe for a deep-seated curiosity. And that's what we see all of our students really have. They want to learn more about the world. They want to learn how people think. They want to learn about different people in different cultures, and they're skeptical. They ask questions. They really want to know deep down how everything works. And that's probably the one thing all of our students do have in common. No matter where they come from, what country, what background, what experience, they all have this curiosity, and it's a wide-ranging curiosity. And that's another reason why we have that double major degree. We want our students, while they're here, to feed their curiosity no matter where it leads them. So that's what I'll say. AJ, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, actually one thing that I realized from our students is that what makes a good journalism student is someone who is interested in telling stories, who want to communicate stories, right? So if you are passionate not just about writing, but also about video, photography, online, if you want to communicate, if you want to tell stories, this is probably a good place to be. And this is probably one thing that differentiates our students from other students, right? They want to tell stories, they want to communicate ideas. So if that's you, this is probably not a bad place to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also, I think the environment here is another thing that sets Hong Kong U aside from other journalism programs here in Hong Kong, because our class have students from all around the globe. So you can really hear a lot of ideas that is, for us locals, thought of very out of the box, very special. So it really broadens your horizons and also inspire you to see things differently. So yeah, I think that's another thing that's special about this program.
Cool.
I would also like to add something.
Yeah.
Cool, please, of course.
So as an international student, I really had really high expectations for the people that I'd be studying with. And actually, when I came to the JMSC, a lot of my peers, my classmates that I was studying with, have a really strong passion for journalism. And even when we're like casually talking during lunchtime, we always engage in a very meaningful conversation about journalism. And a lot of my classmates are very passionate about the field itself and are very passionate about talking about those issues and really having their perspectives out, which I also think is a great extension to just the discussion-based lectures, because we're taking a lot of these topics and just casually talking about it, and we're not really feeling weird about it. So it gives you more room for development and more diverse perspectives that you'll be able to understand. So I think that's very special about the students here at the JMSC.
Oh, great. Thank you, Celine. I think this next question is definitely for Celine and Matthew. Ethics of journalism and professionalism, are they boring to you? Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Definitely not. I can assure you that. It's really interesting and fun because this year, everyone knows it's a very difficult year. A lot of things happened in the last academic year, and in the ethnic class here at JMSC, we really discussed a lot of issues in society that is very recent. So a lot of them are very controversial. So what we do usually is we are going to discuss about different issues, different topics that is happening, different news that is happening right now in the societies. And then we are going to reflect that upon some of the journalism principles. And it's really, I would say, it's really fun to just hear everyone participating in discussions and yeah, sometimes there's no a definite answer to some of that questions. So hearing from different perspectives, from different people holding totally different sets of values and different cultural backgrounds, it really enables you to see the issues that are happening in societies really differently. And I think that helps me to become a better journalist in the future, because you can really see things differently from a different perspective, put on a different pair of glasses that can enables you to become a journalist and, like Jeff just said, be skeptical and be curious.
Celine, do you have anything to add?
I think I don't really have anything to add. But,
Matthew, this is pretty comprehensive.
definitely, I would say that, as Matthew said, understanding the different perspectives that can branch out from just one issue is actually very interesting, because as journalists, your role is not just to understand one perspective, but you should be able to really encapsulate all these perspectives into one article or one journalistic piece. And the most important part about journalism is to avoid being biased. So I think a lot of the discussions that really take place in our classes really serve as a foundation to becoming a really fair journalist, thinking in a very fair manner, which is also very important when becoming an actual journalist.
Those are fantastic points. I mean, I think that, Matthew was saying we discuss current events in class, and we do every year we do these courses. They're different because different things are happening. We analyze them in different ways, but like Celine said, we're always respectful of other people's opinions. In many cases there's no one right or wrong answer, or sometimes there are many correct answers. So one of the key things about why this program works so well is we respect each other and we respect each other's viewpoints. And I think that is such an important thing to keep in mind in this day and age where there is so much conflict and so many people are fighting. Respect for each other, respect for each other's viewpoints, providing a forum in which to talk about these very complicated issues rationally and bringing in experience from different people is so important. And it's a lot of work, but it's also a lot of fun.
Definitely.
Any other questions, guys, in the chat box? Feel free to type away. Okay, Raymond Lau. If I do not have ambition to become a journalist currently, but I really want to improve my language abilities while learning more about society, is studying journalism not that suitable for me? I would say it is suitable for you, absolutely. In fact, we do have students coming into our program who say quite explicitly, look, I don't want to be a journalist in the traditional sense. Every year we get a few students who look at our program as a way to build their communication skills, their language skills, their presentation skills in preparation to do a law degree on a graduate level. So every year at least one or two of our graduates go on to do a JD degree, either in Hong Kong or overseas. And they find that that's actually, it takes longer to become a solicitor or barrister that way, but it's also a much deeper preparation for going into the law. And the HKU law program is a fantastic program, right? No question about it. It's one of the best in the world, but it is very, very much focused on the law, and you get on that track right away without first having an opportunity to feed your curiosity, develop your skills before studying the law. So it's something to think about. And like I said at the very beginning, the communication skills are so important to such a wide variety of careers now. Knowing how to tell stories via video and social media effectively, so important. So we don't expect all of our students to go into journalism when they graduate. And the fact is that about 40 or 50% don't. Totally fine. Totally fine. And we don't think that's a bad thing. We think that's a great thing. I think it demonstrates more than almost any other fact how important journalism is to everybody nowadays. When you think about the tools available to us with social media, with digital video and audio, all of us now have the potential to be journalists. But that doesn't mean we're going to be good journalists. And that's what we focus on here, being good, ethical, unbiased, fair journalists. And that extends to a wide variety of careers.
There's another question for you, Jeff. Jasmine Poon wants to know if they're not admitted in their year 1, can they apply to journalism in their year 2 in HKU?
The short answer is no. I'm afraid not. And the reason is, we have a double major program. It's really packed into we pack a lot into 4 years. Basically, let me put it that way. So, in very, very, very rare cases, we have accepted transfers of students during their university career, but because of the way the program here works, with so many key courses located in the first year, you'd have to start over as a first-year student. So it's certainly not ideal. I think in the last 10 years, we've had maybe 3 students join us midstream. So it's very, very unusual, very difficult to do, and we don't recommend it, quite frankly. One other thing to keep in mind is that the only way to major in journalism is to select the Bachelor of Journalism program. So we do not accept students from other departments to come in and major in journalism. And the fact is, the reason is because we have so much packed into this 4-year program.
Here's another. Yeah, you want to take it?
Yeah. May I ask what sorts of assignments will I expect when studying journalism? I'm gonna turn that over to Celine and Matthew. What do you? And then AJ for video.
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm passing the buck here on this one.
I see.
I think it depends on what type of course you're studying. In year 1, we are taking mostly news writing course. So our type of assignment are usually news stories, news articles, and teachers here really treats us like a real journalist. So we need to be, the type of assignment that we hand in must be just like what you see on newspapers. It's a complete article or complete news stories that it's just the same as the usual type of morning news article that you see. And I think that's very important because for us, studying journalism is, I think most of my classmates have a passion or maybe interest to become a future journalist. So being able to be treated as a real journalist and being assessed upon us as a real journalist, that really helps us to improve our news writing skills. But I mean, back to your questions, there's also a variety of type of assignments because the program here is very flexible. So in year 2 and 3, you can take whatever kind of course you want that is related to journalism. So if you're a media guy, you can take a video course, you can take a photography course. And the type of assignment that you hand in will be a related piece. So you'll be handing in a video, you'll be handing in a photo, so I think it depends. Yeah.
Celine?
Adding on to what Matthew just said, I would say, yes, as Matthew said, we are treated as like real journalists and we learn about things that are needed to become a journalist. So a lot of our topics really are very specific to a certain type of journalism. So we are able to experience what it is like to write in a certain style, and our assignments are usually based on every week we usually have an assignment that is based on a certain type of writing style. For example, sometimes we have assignments that are related to interviews. So we would have to interview someone and write an article about that. Other times we had assignments related to writing restaurant reviews where it was a completely different style from interviews. So like I just mentioned, there are like different writing styles that we learn about in our courses. And we directly apply those the skills that we learn, the writing skills that we learn onto our assignments. So we get a lot of practice within our assignments. So for me personally, I didn't really treat my assignments as something that's going to be graded or something that I'm pressured about or anxious about. I really treated it as an opportunity to really practice my writing skills. And especially since we get a lot of constructive and we get a lot of good feedback from our professors and our lecturers, we have that opportunity to improve. And I felt like that helped me in a very significant way. Also, we have a one-year course called Reporting and Writing that is taught by Jeff. And at the end of our second semester, we had a big project where we had to really report about a district in Hong Kong. And this involved a lot of the skills that we learned throughout the year, because we had to interview people, we had to gather information, and we had to select a story that we wanted to focus on to write our article in. And so it really, I feel like, it's a building foundation. It keeps building on, and these assignments really help along the way. So when discussing assignments, I would like to emphasize that it's important to really take every assignment as an opportunity to really develop your skills rather than something that you're being assessed on.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you. That was great. AJ, do you want to talk briefly about maybe online and then maybe about the capstone?
Sure. Yeah. No. I mean, just to continue with what they're saying about the assignments, I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. I'm taking your line. But the one thing I hate about journalism teaching is that it always changes, right? Yeah. But the one thing I love about teaching journalism is that it always changes, which means that you can't just rest on what's been done already. You have to keep on being adaptive to what's going on in journalism, right? So even though we teach writing, we teach photography, we teach video, we don't just stick to traditional forms of those either. For example, with video, you do learn how to do a traditional news package, but in online, we do know that traditional news package isn't the only type of video that you can do. So we have students do social videos, right? These are videos that are meant to go up on Instagram, meant to go up on Facebook, for example, or YouTube. If you're doing photography, for example, you can do photo stories, right? You can actually do a multimedia video photography type of project, right? So it's not just based on old formats, right? We're always constantly adapting. We've done virtual reality in the past, but then when that went out of vogue, we adapted and found other forms of journalism to do. And then because they learn all these different styles of journalism, when they do their final capstone in their final years, what's kind of cool is that the students end up proposing formats that we don't even teach them about, all right? Or maybe we teach them, but then they take it even further, for example. So obviously with video, many students want to do a short form documentary, which is pretty cool. And now what's even more interesting is that because YouTube is pretty prevalent in all of our lives, some of our students are trying to do news packages that are kind of vlog-like, right? Mm-hmm. Something that's a bit more casual, something that is more fit for younger audiences, and that's kind of one of the beauties of studying journalism here, is that the types of formats that you can do isn't just relegated to what we show you. You guys can propose those for your, not just for your classes, but for your capstone as well. So that's one thing I like and hate, but like about teaching journalism, right, is that we have to be adaptable. If you want to be a journalist, you have to be adaptable. In addition to being curious and skeptical and wanting to tell stories, you have to be adaptable. So
very true.
Yeah.
Great. Some more questions, Grace. Let's see. Thank you for answering my previous question. You're welcome, Cindy. May I know, is studying literature and English beneficial after entering the program? In fact, yes, we do have several students in the past who have chosen literature as their second major. It's again a great combination with journalism, and even though we write true stories, we tell true stories in journalism, there's a lot to be learned from studying literature, other great writers, and I always encourage everyone, not just my students, but everybody, to read at least one novel, a really good novel, in addition to whatever else you're reading, because it's like food for your brain, and you can learn so much about style from novelists and fiction writers. So absolutely true. And let's see, what are the largest challenges you think that a journalist will meet in Hong Kong in recent years? Whew. Yeah, that's a big question. Things are changing so fast. I don't even know, but clearly with what's happening with this new proposed national security law, I think it's safe to say that there is a risk that doing journalism, being a reporter in Hong Kong will become considerably more difficult. We think about journalism in Hong Kong very differently than they think about journalism in mainland China. Journalism here is to serve as a check, as a watchdog on government and companies and major organizations that have power over individuals' lives. And that's how we see journalism. That's how journalism is viewed in Europe, North America. So that's kind of the journalism we teach here. And it clearly, it's become more difficult to be a journalist in Hong Kong in recent years, quite frankly. We do see there's been more attempts to oversee or intimidate journalists. Some journalists, as you've seen, have been targeted by police in Hong Kong, and we've seen some very, very disturbing incidents of journalists being targeted by police in the United States just in the last few days. So I think globally it's becoming more difficult to be a journalist, but at the same time we see how important journalism is. We need somebody to tell us the truth about what's going on. We need someone reliable to inform us so we as citizens can make informed decisions. So yeah, I do think sadly that it will become more difficult to be a journalist, but I think we all still need to reflect on the importance of journalism and why it's worthwhile.
That sounds.
Is that yeah?
Yeah, it's a tough question.
That's a really tough question. It's a question we're all asking ourselves and each other now, and it's a question that is going to be on everyone's mind for the next several years, I think. Wow, good questions. It's really,
a very good question,
yeah. Wow, excellent questions. I think we have time for maybe one more question before we wrap it up. I didn't want to keep you all too long. We did say we'd keep it to about 45 minutes, but if there's one more question, happy to try to field that. Or if, Celine, anything else you wanted to add in closing?
I would say, as I mentioned before during my sharing, there are a lot of challenges when studying journalism, and especially with the changing format and the changing world. There are a lot of pressing issues that we have to talk about as journalists and future journalists. But I think it's a very rewarding experience because we journalists are basically the people who are really on the front lines of these issues. And although I'm not a journalist yet, I feel like learning about the skills that are required to do so is a very intriguing experience that I think I would like to share with all of you. And so I hope that you guys all choose to study at the JMSC.
Great, thank you. All right, well, I guess we can wrap it up there. If you do have more questions, bring them to the interviews. You will have an opportunity to ask us questions in person. So if you didn't get to ask your question today, don't worry about it. We'd love to see you in the group interviews. If you have not yet received an invitation via email, let us know and we'll get you one. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you so much to Celine and Matthew for your comments. We really appreciate it. And it's so much fun working with these guys. And even working with AJ is fun once in a while. So thank you again for joining us. We wish you best of luck in your exams and all that. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay curious, stay skeptical. And we hope to see you here at Elliott Hall soon. Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye.
Bye.